Wow, this is really terrific. Okay, well, let me set up my PowerPoint and we will get started. Okay, see that okay?
Yep, we see it.
Wonderful. All right. So, goodness, obviously I'm delighted to be here, and thank you, Megan and Marie, for inviting me to the community. In fact, I just learned in our setup a few minutes ago that this used to be NAPW. I did not know that, so it was a wonder why I hadn't heard of IAW, so I'm thrilled. It's like, oh, I know NAPW. So ladies, nice to meet you all, and get ready for definitely mindset shifts in how to achieve your goals and how to do sales from a more dignified place. And especially those of you that answered how you feel today. Some of you, did express you're exhausted, you're stressed. Well, this will be some of your solutions. So sit back, take some notes. So let me go over a few important details before I begin telling you my story and then the training. And that is, I have a few, obviously not to be missed gifts that I'll explain at the end of the training and how to take action on that. And the gifts include this, literally a free companion 14-page guide that I created from my script. This is not a PowerPoint guide. This is literally more details and from the training. So it's kind of like a mini, ebook, if you will, and you can really sit down in your own time and read through it. So I wanted to do that to help you with your note taking, right? And then I know some of you will find it valuable and excited to jump in because I'm going to explain how you can promptly request one of 7 complimentary private one-on-one Zoom discovery calls with me about this topic, right? So stick around, obviously, for the details, and we'll get you squared away. And of course, as Megan was saying, is I would love to answer questions. So we're going to, obviously have a little bit of time when I'm done here. I'm really hoping for about 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes of this. And trust me, it's pretty compelling, as you will see, because there's a lot of storytelling in this, and I know you'll be able to relate. Okay, so very good. So today, let's see, make sure we got this working. Good. So today, the training is chock full of solid, authentic content that will absolutely change the way you think and act and how you achieve your goals and how to increase your client attraction and higher conversion rates in your sales conversations. Because I'm teaching my own personal breakdown to breakthrough that happened in 2017. I'll go through that and how that led me to helping clients go from long-term to short-term results. My signature creative achievement formula, the one that turned my burned out life into one of renewed optimism and vibrant living. You're going to learn the difference between massive action and inspired action. This is a huge game changer, ladies, when it comes to how you achieve your goals. I'm also going to obviously share a couple client stories who achieved really great success with their one-year bold goals and transformed their money relationship for their bottom line impact. And then, of course, 8 ways that my clients shifted, right, their money mindset and elevated their wealth consciousness to charge what they're worth, even in the middle of a pandemic, and generate higher sales conversions in 6 weeks. Okay. So let me, introduce myself in a proper way so that at least you can feel more connected with me. You can create a level of trust with me, right, in what I'm sharing with you. So Megan already explained, I'm an international success coach and business strategist and so forth. I celebrated 12 years in my coaching business this May. Prior to that, I had a very dynamic, lots of fun 22-year career working with celebrities, visual and performing artists as a publicist, right? for various PR firms and then in my own PR company while I raised my now 29-year-old son. My artistry is writing, visual arts, human potential, and entrepreneurship. And I come from a family of all creatives in many forms. We have screenwriters, actors, musicians, filmmakers, theater producers, costume designers, chefs, authors. You kind of get the point here, is that creativity is my life, right? And my passion for working with creatives, and creative, by the way, doesn't necessarily mean art form, right? Creativity, everybody, is innovation. It's the way you come up with solutions. So you don't have to have a, artistic talent to be creative, right? So anyway, my passion comes from obviously growing up in this artistic family, my innate talents, and understanding how to navigate life and business as a creative. Because my sweet spot, right, my sweet spot is with women entrepreneurs and bringing together your creativity, right, and bridging your worth by monetizing it in a leveraged, streamlined business model without, and this is super important that you're going to learn today, without compromising your values, your worth, your dignity, and your family time. Right. I'm a proud mom of as you can see here, of a 29-year-old. He's very high achieving. He's in Vegas. And as I said, I raised him as a single parent while I was running my PR business. And I survived breast cancer in 2003, right? And I actually became a speaker chair for Susan G. Komen, the Los Angeles affiliate, for 6 years as my way of giving back. And being helping women be proactive about their health. So it was a combination of literally feeling discontented with my PR career around the 20-year mark. It was around 2006. And at the same time of me feeling discontented, I was ready for the next level, the next version of who I was supposed to be. Is that what was going on? Is that the new PR was social media? And I went, okay, I got to reinvent me. Right? I don't know what these blog things are. I don't know what this social media is, but there's something for me to be able to move into. And so I was on a mission to reinvent me, right? And so I found mentors, right? I found mentors to help navigate that change, and they helped and inspired me to turn my expertise, which is personal branding, entrepreneurship, writing, journalism, all of that, and turn that into a product, which was coaching and speaking and, helping change people's lives. So I could never be where I'm at without these coaches. And in fact, I never go without a coach in 12 years. I always have coach, on my side. Good. So very good on that one. And one of my, I should say many of my extremely passionate, pleas is you being paid for your worth, right, as a creative business owner, and not cave in, which you're going to learn, into people's money stories, okay? I'm also passionate about you transforming your money relationship for higher revenues and a stronger self-worth so you aren't seduced by the competition, right? It's a real normal thing. It's no one's fault, right? It's just the way things go. I'm also passionate about you leveraging your business and getting rid of unnecessary tasks, right? And learn to delegate, right? And be that leader, right, of your business. And then, of course, one of my main missions is helping you be a leader in your industry, right? Okay. So to begin with, regardless of which pivot you have chosen or are choosing, right, in your business due to this new economy, the golden nuggets I have for you in this training are designed to be in place as you take action on your pivot plan. And what I highly recommend is that you chunk these down, or you chunk down your goals, right? You may have heard this before. Some of you may be stuck, not sure how to get, move forward, is that this is the structure, is you literally create 90-day increments and then you choose 1 or 2 goals within that 90-day period as you implement what I'm about to teach you, all right? So 90-day focus, chunk it down, and have 2 goals, right, that you're literally working on, Okay, so let me give you the backstory as to what led me to literally this training and this coaching content. So June 1st, 2017 was the day that my life expanded in ways that I never would imagined. After 20 years of denying my long-held desire to live, not goal, desire, to live and work in both United States and Italy, I hit the wall. I was burned out. It was March 2017, and it required some very deep soul searching, for answers. So on June 1st, I hired my coach for a full day private intensive to literally recover my dreams and my desires. I didn't know what they were. They were lost right in the inheritance of life, and I felt like this manufactured version of who I was. Right? In fact, a lot of my coaching colleagues, we all felt the same. It's like we had gone far enough where we felt mechanical, we felt too masculine, we felt like enough already, right? How do we get into our feminine power? So it was in that session that my coach pulled out of me that long-held desire, right? And helped me plan my first month-long stay in Florence, Italy. Man, I had not felt, right, that alive and vital in years. And so off I went, right, into Florence, Italy. This was 45 days later. I did all the planning, I did what I needed to do, and I took the leap of faith along with the support of my coach, and I literally, right, took off for Rome and Florence, Italy. It was like the end of July. It was, in fact, about 3 years to the day that we're standing here that I took off for Florence. What happened there was I literally, my gosh, as you can imagine, I fell back in love with life. I trusted my intuition again. I became more vibrant. It's like all the angst, all the stress, all of that just melted away within about 2 weeks of being there. Here I was literally doing that dream, doing that desire I had longed for years. I had my laptop, I coached, I played during the day, I did it all, right? And as a result of that, my heart opened up again. My dreams showed up, right? I was again living the way I really wanted to live. Obviously roaming the cobblestone streets of Florence and meeting new people and the culture. And now, this is not meant to say, okay, we can't travel right now. So what I'm trying to do is plant in you when we're able to leave the country and fly out again, which I am just anticipating that. This is about living the dream, if you will, in your mind for the moment. Anyway, yes, as I worked my coaching business, as I played and so forth. And upon returning home, right, I literally created a whole new business structure and a whole new way of doing my coaching. I loved the coaching. It was how I was doing my business that burned me out, right? And so I came back, rebranded, restructured, completely shifted all of who I was in my old life back here, because I was very intentional upon returning that I wanted to integrate that new Marla, or I should probably say the real Marla, into then my old life when I came back. It took a few months for me to do that with a lot of intention. So whenever I feel out of alignment today, right, with who I am or what I'm doing, I use my creative achievement formula, right, that came from this pivotal experience. And so I'm going to explain to you what this creative achievement formula is. So think about this, is how often obviously have you claimed, right, an important goal and it fell short, right? It seemed totally achievable, but for some reason it didn't come to fruition, right? I can almost guarantee that you never knew this or were told this one crucial element was missing. And that is this, because I didn't know it until my coach, right, taught me. And that is this, as you can see on the screen, is the proven formula for success and fulfillment to completely, right, feel spiritually aligned and in a high vibration is this: desires plus goals equals results. here's how we've been taught, ladies, is that goals, and it's a good thing to have them, so hang tight, I'm going to clarify this even more, is that goals is the masculine of life. Desires is the feminine of life. We have completely left out our own feminine power in our goal approaching and how we achieve them, right? So hang tight, I'll explain that. Because our desires, right, our desires fuel the goals to keep the fire lit in your heart to achieve them, right? Without the desires, and there's a difference, which I'll explain in a moment, there's a difference between desires and goals. Desires is your feminine innate power, right? It's what you want to do with your life. It's not make a certain amount of money. It's not create a certain amount of clients. It's very different, right? So again, is the difference is our desires are made of what I call our inner fire, our passion, our free spirit. It's our non-negotiable traits, right? Desires are of the heart, where goals are of logic, of the mind, right? That's masculine. So you cannot achieve a goal faster without just the desires fueling again the goals. Because here's the key, and this is why I was burned out, and this is why many of you are burned out at various times, is that goals alone, especially for us women entrepreneurs, will leave us burned out and unfulfilled. We may achieve the goal, but along the way, and by the end, we're usually pretty burned out, right? Whether it's at that point or on down the road. So do you have desires, right, that you've long held, but you didn't give them the light of day, right? Due to fear, uncertainty, doubt, worry, financial, right? Or lack of time. So for example, back in 2017, that's exactly what happened, is that my goals, right? My goals were to make money with joy, right? I wanted to feel the feminine power of making the money, because making money is primarily a masculine activity, right? It's the doing, right? Is that, right? I didn't want to make it hard. I didn't want it to feel like massive action, right? I wanted it to be inspired action. And I wanted to feel authentic and happy in my business changing lives, right? And respectfully let go of anything or anyone that did not align with this new high frequency life. This became my new normal. But here's the secret sauce, is what kept me going towards the goals, right? Even in times of uncertainty, was my desire to live and work in Italy for years to come. It wasn't the goal of making money with joy only, right? It was getting to Italy is what kept me going, achieving, doing what I needed to do to hit those goals, even though at times it felt like a struggle, right? Okay, you see the difference? So when we give our loyalty first, right? When we give our loyalty first to our desires and have the faith, have the trust, right? Have that trust that these desires and such will happen, is that they lead us right to the pursuit, of our goals. Now we're not trained or imprinted, no fault of anyone's, to go after our desires, right? We may have heard they're not affordable. You have to kind of put them on the back burner, right? It's something that has to come later. God, I would get the goals first. I'm telling you, it is a combination of both, okay? Practicality will set in when we listen to what I call our ego that tells us, no, you got to go get the goals. Don't pay attention to that right now. You can get to that later. Is that practicality sets in and we focus on goals and we put our desires in the wait for later folder. I'm here to tell you to bring it out of that folder, bring it out of your heart, bring it out of your vision, that you've maybe written in your journal. Our desires really help us withstand the demands of our focus, right? To see those goals complete. So bring in your desires, bring them out from hiding, right? And use that as the formula, right, to get your goals. All right, so let's move now into what are the two must-have strategies. Now you've got the foundation, the creative achievement formula. Now what are the two, right, must-have strategies so that you can achieve your goals, your goals in 6 weeks? Number one is inspired action, not massive action. And number 2, raising your wealth consciousness for higher sales conversion. So these are the secrets, again, of collapsing that time frame. And I'm going to share with you right now 2 clients, right, 2 women clients that achieved this year that exact thing in 6 weeks. So let's talk about and let's share Chelsea. Chelsea Marie is a web designer. She's a brand expert, changing women's lives and their websites and their brands. When she started one of my programs called Money Transformation Program, she says here, as a business owner, I didn't love looking at my cash flow. There's the money stuff, right? We have a money relationship that tends to be an adversarial, unbeknownst to us. It's unconscious. We literally have this relationship with money that's not supporting, right, us in our goals. I'll be talking about that in a few minutes. Anyway, she says it made her feel uncomfortable and uneasy, right? Relationship with money. She also had a hard time trusting where she was investing in her business. Is that in the first week of this coaching program, a 6-week coaching program, she paid off 2 credit cards. And then her big goal with her husband, she was married now for 5 years. They wanted, by the end of this year, they wanted to literally buy their first home. Well, guess what? Week 4 of week 6 of what she thought was going to take a year, she not only found the home, they had it built. She's up in Seattle, Washington. She just moved into their new home last weekend. So you tell me that this is not exciting, right? So Chelsea, pretty darn proud of her, and she obviously inspired everybody along the way. Secondly, Michelle Harvey. She's based out of Miami, and she has a video production company for the wedding industry. She also, right, as she states here, 2 months into the program, basically around week 4, she literally was the largest earning months of her business to date. And she'd had her business, I believe, if I'm correct, I think it was 3 to 4 years. So it was still fairly new. She also secured her largest jobs to date. And I'm going to explain to you what they did, right? I'm already in the middle of that, but you'll see more. Is that 2 bookings over $4,000 a piece where they used to be $2,800. She made $12K in 1 weekend, and she raised her rates on all her packages, and no one has asked her for a discount or tried, right, to, change her rates. All right. So this is pretty incredible, the human condition, because when given the opportunity, ladies, to recalibrate old habits, mindset, and behaviors, especially with money, we end up creating, right, new habits and behaviors, right, to be able to then move forward. Now, how did this happen for Chelsea and Michelle? They applied these 2 strategies, so let's get into them. All right, so the first one is inspired action. How many times, and I know you've all heard it, you've even, said it yourself, I used to, you heard the phrase, take massive action. What vibe do you feel around that phrase, right? I don't know about you, it feels kind of, it feels very stressful to me, massive action. It feels very masculine also. There's nothing wrong with masculine, but you'll see in just a moment what I mean by this. So the first time I heard massive action was in Tony Robbins' webinars, right? His seminars. I went through many of his courses over the years, and I'm one of his biggest fans. Right? And as I said, I've definitely taken his courses. My son has even worked for him, right? So I really, really stand for Tony. But here's what I realized is over the years, as I evolved, right, and I really, right, became more connected to my spirit, more connected to my feminine power, I realized this mindset was causing, right, it was one of the reasons causing me to feel burned out, was taking massive action. And it didn't align with who I was becoming and where I was headed. So I found that massive action was not the way to feel good or pay attention to my self-care along the way to the goal, right? Along the way to the goal or achieving your goals. So what, in fact, it's exactly what I was doing. This is what caused my burnout, right? At the 9-year mark of me running my business. And I was pushing my way through goals and actions prior to this change in this, right, major pivot I had in my life. So what I've come to learn is this, is that when women, right, are too much in their masculine energy, the structures, the systems, the going, the goal setting, you name it, for an extended period of time, our hearts, our creativity, and our intuition shut down. They literally shut down, as is our feminine power, which happens to be synonymous with each other, right? So that's exactly what happened. And I decided this, is I would no longer be available, right, for this consistent masculine energy. But what I did learn is there's a masterful blend of both. It's a masterful blend, right, of running a business or a career, is that you must have both. So here's the difference, right, is massive action, as it shows here. It's about getting it done at the cost of your well-being, going the distance, hitting the wall, burnout. Where inspired action is about using your intuition along the way, self-care. You know what, if you're burned out at a certain time and you're working in the middle of the day, stop. Go take a walk, go do something to take care of yourself. Be very conscious of self-care, right? And then be aware of like extended periods of time. So here's then the differences, and the secret sauce to all of this is receiving intuitive direction, right? Listen, don't be in such a hurry. Slow down, take a deep breath, ask spirit, ask universal, power, whatever is your higher power, ask for support with that, right? And listen for the direction, and as well, right, connect with self-care along the way. That's inspired action, meaning you're going to get inspired ideas when you listen to your intuition, when you listen, right, to something other than the masculine of life, right? Now, as I said, that the blending has to happen, and the blending is, in fact, the details are in the 14-page companion guide that you're going to opt in for. It's free. And it's going to point out this and go into more detail. We need masculine systems. We need strategies, right? We need structures to grow and sustain our business. But we need even more, right, our feminine energy to create, to imagine, to emote, to vision, to lead, to collaborate, to connect, right, to play, right, to build relationships. So you got to have a blending of both, but the masculine is there to support the feminine so that you live more often in the feminine. Sounds good? I don't know about you, but it's changed my life, right? It's all about self-care. All right, terrific. So that's inspired action. Right? That's what I aspire for you to start living. Number 2, now we're going to talk about money. This is strategy 2. This is how Chelsea and Michelle and all my other clients have done in order to, right, shorten their goal time and collapse that time. So this is about raising your wealth consciousness, right, for better client attraction and higher sales conversion. Here's empowered ways on how to think, act, and feel with money, right? A higher self-worth and dignity. Boundaries with money, not caving in, everybody, not caving in to people that want discounts, because that's their money story. It's okay, no fault of their own. But when you can recognize that people are asking for discounts because of their own money stuff, you can stand in your power, right? Which then leads to empowering money conversations with, clients, potential clients, your spouse, your partners, right? Investors, you name it. And standing firm with your pricing has to do with your own wealth consciousness and what you feel you're worth. And as well, which is something I coach, a qualifying sales system. Okay. Here's also more empowered ways to think, act, and feel with money. I'm giving you some tips from my own sales system. Offering a 5-day savings rate as an incentive, and then it goes away, and then they can live, right? An unapologetic belief that we live in an abundant universe, even in this economy. I want you to know, all of my clients, all of them, have absolutely done well in the last 4 months. Now, did they, lean on, we all did, on the PPP and the EIDL and the loan and all that? Absolutely, it's there for us. But they did not skip a beat. They pivoted. As I coached them, I had absolutely no challenge with them. A couple times we had a little bit of a, a pep talk. But for the most part, they stuck with this unapologetic belief that we live in an abundant universe, regardless of the conditions out there, right? Here's another one, ladies, is delete the word discount from your vocabulary in all of your documents, especially your sales. Replace it with savings or bonus. Because discount to me feels like you're buying pizza, right? Discount to me feels like you're selling retail, right? Something that's, and here's the caveat, anything that's $1,000 or more, right? That's where you need to be never selling text, email, Facebook message, or any device where you are not present. No fault of anybody's. This is probably the biggest piece of conversation I have with everyone is, what do you mean don't sell by email? No, it's a one-on-one conversation over, right, in this case, Zoom, or on the phone, but preferably Zoom. You do not allow technology to sell for you. And most of you have high ticket items, as I said, 1,000 or more. If it's anything less, then that's fine. They can click here and buy here. But your pricing of 1,000 or more requires a conversation, not an email, all right? And not a hope and a pray they like your proposal. So there's a lot of stuff that goes around that. Also, right, we give away our power when we use anything else other than, in this case, face-to-face. So on the companion guide, I go into a lot more. All right, very good. So let me share with you in the last few minutes of me covering this, my money story, right? And my money story was I lacked wealth consciousness. This was, 12, 13 years ago. I lacked wealth consciousness, owning my worth. I didn't totally get my worth at all. And knowing how to have empowering money conversations. In fact, I had a real challenge with men and money. I was told mixed messages, no fault of my parents, but there was mixed messages growing up about money. Be strong, be independent, but you need a man in there too. Like, well, which one is it, Mom and Dad? Which one is it? And again, no fault of their own. They were brought up in a different era. So I dedicated the last 12 years to getting certified and breaking through my own money blind spots, right? And I took the leap of faith to learn from my mentors. And here's the biggest piece for all of you that are parents, no matter what your age of your children are, is that we literally create a money legacy for our children. And what I mean by that is our money legacy, our habits, our behaviors, and our mindset around money that we unconsciously are passing on to them. That's what I was talking about with my parents. I broke through that. I got trained to move into a brand new money legacy that I am now passing down to my son, right? Rather than me passing down the old stuff. So our children's money legacy begins with us. And that was my core reason for doing that, besides doing well in business. Okay. Listen, or I should say, read this and listen. Your money relationship will be the most profound relationship you will have in your lifetime, next to your higher power, right? Yourself and your significant other. So let's master it so that you can live the life that you desire. Let's say this again, is that your money relationship will be the most profound, right? That you'll have in your lifetime, next to your higher power, yourself and your significant other. So it's, if you haven't recalibrated it, I'm sure many of you have, because you're all very intelligent, smart women out there getting coached. If you haven't, please do that. So a pre-transformed money relationship kind of looks like this, so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. It's the money story that we carry around with us unconsciously, no fault of our own. If you're a parent, as I mentioned, you unconsciously pass down all of this to your children, right? Habits, behaviors, mindset, we adopted it, as I mentioned, growing up, no fault of anybody's. You have an opportunity to change that. And we feel about, how do you feel about money? Do you pay attention to it? Do you bless it? Do you ignore it? Do you criticize it? Do you judge it? Do you talk negatively about it to self and others? Think about how you're in relationship, right, with money. So let me explain to you that Success in attracting higher end clients. Pricing, again, in the middle of a pandemic, right? You can tell I'm not using the pandemic as a reason why. This is the mindset, why I can't do X, Y, Z. It's furthest from the truth, right? There's pivots. You need to do stuff different, but that doesn't mean you can't make good money. All right. So success in attracting high-end clients, pricing, and closing sales, right, begins with your own money relationship and what you unconsciously feel that you're worth. It may be the first time you considered this, right? Or it may be a powerful reminder for those of you that have been coached already about it. It's just a reminder to revisit and recalibrate. All right. So it's imperative to understand the powerful impact of your current, money relationship and why transforming it has positive effects on your life and a generational impact. All right. So common money relationship symptoms. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. We're just about ready to finish. I know this happened. This happened to me before I recalibrated and shifted and transformed my money relationship. It's people that owe you money. These are symptoms of a money relationship that could use some love and nurturing. You're missing bill pay system. You pay as you go. You undervalue your talents. You're afraid to increase your rates. You have soft boundaries around money, right? And of course, the relationship thing, discomfort around talking. Okay, so our money story does this, is it dictates who we hang out with, what's in our bank accounts, who we attract, our money discussions, and then obviously the condition of our self-worth and value. So your only responsibility, in fact, if this is one of the main things you get out of this, right, training, which there's plenty, but this right here, your only responsibility, ladies, in the sales scenario is owning your worth while helping your potential client make a good decision for their needs, right? That's it. Now, I want you to do this, is begin thinking, acting, and feeling differently, right, about empowering money conversations during the sales process, and that you aspire, right, to literally be more dignified and confident while creating higher revenues, right? That's the transformation that I am aspiring for you. Because transformation begins with this. It's healing your money story and your belief systems by living more often in what? Trust, faith, respect, gratitude, abundance, and positive intention. The more often you live in that, even in times of uncertainty, the more, along with the right actions, you're going to create, right, the desires and the goals that you want. So I want you to treat money as a blessing, respect it, treat it kindly, pay attention daily to your numbers and your P&L. At any given time, you should know what those numbers are. If not, it looks like you've got some recalibrating to do. It's okay. Now, I'm eager for you, right, to obviously collapse your time frame, just like what Chelsea and Michelle did. And in fact, what they did were everything I just taught you, right? What they did was, of course, they recalibrated their mindset, their habits, their behaviors around money. They composed a one-year vision as if it was complete already, right? And what did they do? They took courageous action in asking for the sale in their higher rates, knowing they were worth it, even if they were scared to do it. They broke through. So when you combine together creative achievement formula, right, and then the two strategies I just shared, that's how you collapse the time frame and achieve your one-year goals in 6 weeks. Now, all you need to do for that download, that free download, is text the word abundance to 66866. All right, and it will take you to a form. You'll fill that out and you'll immediately be taken to the page. And in that same page, I'm only taking 7 of you for complimentary private 60-minute Zoom calls. All right, you'll see that below the download, and it asks a quick question and then your information. So ladies, there you have it. It was my pleasure to be here. I'm open for questions. Let's do it.
Thank you, Marla.
Yay.
So I did put the word abundance and the number in the chat if you still need to grab that to chat for Marla's offer, to text for Marla's offer, sorry. We did get one question sent to me privately while you were speaking, so let me start there. And while we're covering this one, if you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat or raise your hand and I can take you off mute. So the question that we got privately, somebody's asking, who are your money mentors? Do you have any money
Yes,
mentors?
of course. Where I learned, and in fact, I have 2 certifications. You probably all know her, Kendall Summerhawk. So Kendall Summerhawk, back then, and she still has, she has several money certification courses that you not only do for yourself, but then how you teach your clients. And then on top of that, my God, over the years, Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, Allie Brown, Gina DeVee. These are all my coaches over the years. Yeah, good question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Feel free to raise your hand or pop them in the chat. If you're not on video, you can either come off mute and ask us. You can raise your hand with a reaction. There's a few different ways to let us know.
Yeah. You know, as I'm reading in the chat, you know, this is super common, ladies. In fact, excuse me, what's personal is universal. And what I mean by that is you're not alone in how you're feeling around the money stuff. This is one of the reasons, you know, and I jokingly say why I have a job, right? Is that everybody has a money story and you may be conscious or not conscious of it, but there is a way to recalibrate it. So one of the typical challenges that women come to me, all my women clients, is that they don't own their worth and they give discounts. And it's mainly because they don't have a qualifying sales system and they don't own their worth. And that's okay. Everybody has that challenge. It's not uncommon. So if you have any question around that and how to handle it, this is the time to do it. Again, you're not alone. It's super common, ladies. It's okay. So are there any questions around the sales scenario, around you giving discounts, or what comes up for you when they ask?
Any questions or comments that you want to share, input? We're open for discussion.
Yeah.
You should be able to unmute yourself as well if you want to come off.
I found it.
Hi, Fern.
Hi, Fern.
Marla. Hi, Megan. Marla, my question was, well, it's not really a question, it was something that came to me when you were talking about the feminine versus the masculine.
Yes.
I'm thinking that when we're thinking about success, we should say, what does success feel like? And a lot of times, no one ever asks us that question.
That is, in fact, that fits beautifully. Thank you for saying that. It exactly fits with what I'm teaching about the feminine part of achieving your goals. The feminine approach is the desires, yes, and how you feel once it's already complete, right? So, great point.
Thanks, Fern. Beverly in the chat is saying, I guess I feel bad because some people use the pandemic excuse for not affording my service.
Yeah, sure. And what, Beverly, if you don't mind, you know, let's have a quick chat about that. What is your service? Where are you?
I'm here. Hi.
Oh, hi, Beverly. Good. Yeah, what's your service?
Yeah, so I'm a life coach, and to be honest, if I can be honest to myself, I mean, you know, a lot of what you said really resonated because I'm new. You know, I'm still really coming into my own identity as a life coach. So I have to admit that it's part of my own insecurities and that whole imposter syndrome. And also, like I said, the people that I talk to are, you know, using the excuse of, well, you know, I can't afford it. I mean, clearly they're out seeking it, but yet they can't afford it. And I have to admit that that's also part of, you know, my fear as well. And so then I give in.
Absolutely.
Right.
So you give in and give them a discount?
Correct. Yes.
How long have you been in your business?
So I just started in January.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I do have, and it's funny because I mean, I'm in marketing, so I still work for corporate America. And so I do that full time and I completely get that. But now that I'm venturing into my own, potentially being really responsible for my own income,
Good.
I'm finding it hard to navigate that and really kind of coming into the whole, this is my destiny, this is my business, I have to protect it, versus me working for someone else, making money for, someone else.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge, congratulations for taking the leap.
Thank you.
It's a huge leap of faith, and it's also a huge mindset shift, right? I've coached many women, in fact, several right now that took, I literally held their hand as they took the leap into their own business, and they actually quit the job. Sounds like you still have both.
Yes.
But yes, it's a mindset for sure. And so you're right, is that you're just beginning. God, I mean, I'm far from where I was 12 years ago when I first started. Right? So I absolutely empathize with you, but to kind of shorten the answer to that is, it's a combination. Here's what goes on, as I kind of alluded into in the training. It's a combination of not only you owning your worth, and it does take training and coaching to get there, right? But it's also how you are marketing and your sales system. Because my sales system that I teach all of my clients is a qualified. Therefore, nobody says we can't afford you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's rare, and if somebody does in the beginning and they ask what's your range of fees, and I tell them, and they go, oh, well, and it's rare that this even happens, and they say, oh, well, okay, that's probably not something I can afford. I say, okay, no worries, come back around when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you having a qualifying system that from the get-go, you either know they do or cannot afford you. Therefore, you're not wasting your time and you're not chasing after people.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and you're right. I'm starting to recognize that now, is that it's really going after that specific focus niche. And I think because I still have the full time, it's really kind of finding that, right? So that's kind of my dilemma right now is, okay, what do I do with the little time I have? And I'm going for the low hanging fruit. So, and it's not the focus niche that I really want.
You know what? On some level, and if I was coaching you, it's okay. It's part of your evolution.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of you in the newness. It's like, just get a client, just get out there and get a client, get some clients, and then we'll work on your
feet wet.
Yeah, it's like, go ahead and we'll work on your mindset. I mean,
yeah,
that's exactly what I've done with all of my people, just like you, that jump the ship. Their business. It's okay. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle to yourself. You'll get there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Carla?
Yeah. Where?
Minda.
It's Minda. Hi, sweetheart. You were amazing. Huh? What?
Everybody, this beautiful necklace is by Minda Her Jewelry on Instagram. It's a purple jasper. This is Minda, one of my dear, dear friends. Hey, Minda.
Yes. Hi. Well, that's very sweet of you to introduce me. Yeah. You did a great job. Oh, I learned a lot. And it's so interesting because one of the things I did when COVID happened a couple of months, I reduced all my jewelry by $30 each piece. And you know what? It didn't feel good at the time. I thought, wow, I even thought, why am I doing this? Well, because people need discounts right now. And it's like, after this call, I'm going to go back, like on the Zoom call, people bought more of the expensive pieces than they did the less expensive pieces. So what you're saying means it makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go on and put my prices back up where they were.
Do it.
I deserve it.
Well, in fact,
right?
Minda, you bring up a really good point. And ladies, you're going to relate with this. It's super common. And that is, who are you to determine what people can or cannot afford?
Right. That's exactly right. No, that was, and you know what? My insides didn't feel good about it. I was going, ooh, this feels yucky, but
That's huge. That's the part about money and about owning worth, is that when we feel we need to or expected, this is the women's mindset. You never have a man do this, right? This is about standing in your power about your worth, right? And when we
Right.
don't, guess what happens? Just like what Minda said, is that we start feeling our self-esteem gets knocked, right? Our confidence gets knocked. We feel a little bit resentful, right? I mean, explain some of the feelings you had when you discounted your jewelry, when you said it didn't feel right.
It didn't feel good. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel honoring of myself, because I've evolved to that place where my prices over the last 22 years have evolved,
That's right.
and people paid for them.
Right.
And yeah, so yeah, that I mean, what an aha moment this is.
Oh, God. I'm so glad. And what we're referring to, ladies, this is a great example of what's going on out there, and you've all been a part of it. Minda had to pivot, right? Like everyone else, she used to have these really fabulous in-person jewelry parties for years. You know, you've been doing this for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she used to do these in-person, wonderful kind of cocktail party, you know, jewelry parties, and did fantastic. And then the COVID hit, right? And she was like,
Right.
oh my God, what do I do now? Well, she pivoted. Her very first virtual jewelry party was last Thursday, and she was gangbusters. I want you to know there were women clamoring. It was an hour and a half. Oh, I want that. No, I want one too. I mean, I felt like I was in an auction house, right? All these women going, I'll take that one. No, I'll take, and these are not $20 pieces. Right?
No.
These are rightfully so from someone that's been a jewelry designer, and a very popular one at that, for 20 years. And they were just going like hotcakes.
Thank
So,
you, honey. Yeah, and thank you for getting one yourself. Thanks.
oh my
I'm
God.
glad you got the one of a kind.
Hmm.
Yeah, you got the only one like that.
Thank you for that. See, that's what she's a super supportive friend. This was not a plant. I didn't plant her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see you in action, girl. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you. Marla, we have time for maybe 2 more questions. I have one more that came in to me privately.
It looks like Laura back.
Oh yeah, so I'm going to read that one off. I have it here twice. So how do you connect, or do you have an opening statement to connect with people in this trying time? What has been the huge learning or discovery you gained in this time? What were your clients' comments?
Where Laura back? Where are you? Oh, there she is. Hi, Laura. Am I pronouncing it correctly, Laura back?
You
Okay.
got it right, Marla.
So if you can clarify that a little more, how do you connect, or an opening statement, meaning, give me a scenario.
For instance, on I guess on a connecting with your client, right? Like an opening statement, because I've seen like one of the question here too is like they have difficulty in like connecting with them, especially those that probably some of them don't see it as a priority at this time to like be entertaining maybe an opportunity, because they're probably soaked with with their personal struggles. And,
What do you sell?
so my question is, how do you like connect with your client if you are gonna talk to them about an opportunity, so they can they can be open to sitting down with you and seeing what they can get out of that opportunity.
Right. What do you sell?
Also, in my end, I am in the financial services business. So we basically teach people like how to make monies, grow them, and save from taxes. So that's I am soliciting like an advice, and how can I approach them in that way.
Sure. Are you a financial planner?
It's more of a financial professional, Marla, because I'm an independent contractor. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, there has to be systems and strategies prior to what you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Depending on where you're seeing these people, I mean, obviously it's going to be online versus perhaps in person, because we can't network in person, is that if you don't have a clarity, and I don't know, you can certainly tell me that, if you don't have a clarity of who your ideal client is, and that your marketing speaks to that ideal client, and you go where they hang out online and or get referrals, it's going to be a hard road.
Okay.
Right. And so as far as just how do you open up a statement, like what you're doing is cold calling is what it sounds like to me. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. It's more of like now it's like because we don't see them face to face.
Yeah.
So that's how we do our referral is a referral from a referral. So like a friend, they can refer.
Okay.
It's less of like cold calling, but
Yeah.
because now we don't have the access anymore of like, you know, when you go out and see them and whatnot.
Okay. So let me understand this. So we're talking about someone who came to you by referral.
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. That's even better. That's even better. So yeah, it's super easy. I mean, you're either going to just invite them to a get to know each other. Say you were referred by so-and-so. I'd love to just have a very casual, organic conversation with you since they referred you, and let's just see how it goes. I mean, all you're doing, everybody, in this scenario, in any scenario, especially a referral, is this is called human connection. Develop just as if you were with them in person. You wouldn't hesitate to just start talking about getting to know them and, oh, and you have family and, oh, let's, you know what I'm saying? It's no different online. And so my first entry, in fact, this is how a lot of my business comes besides, you know, online and so forth, are referrals. And when somebody comes to me, I literally will, you know, pick up, actually they either email or they text me or whatever it is. I go, terrific, you know, let's go ahead and schedule a Zoom call. I'd like to get to know you. That's it. That's all I do. And then when we get on the Zoom call and I explain to them actually prior to it, I say, you know, let's just get to know each other and then I can explain to you how I work. That's it.
Wonderful.
That simple, right? So you're really trying to develop that connection, that relationship, because people want to feel heard, right? People want to feel connected. This is a human nature 101, you know, and that's it. Just don't worry about the business side. Don't worry about the selling. Just connect with that human being. Yeah?
Marla, appreciate it so much.
You're welcome. Of course.
Thank you.